Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. Hope this week is going well, and welcome to October. We're so glad that you're here with us. And today we kick off the show with Pam and Ricky with some fun news about the 2025 Give Kids the World live call-in show, where we're going to raise a lot of money for the village, as we do every year or two. It's always exciting. So we have the date to give you and how you can be a part of helping out these families in need down in Central Florida. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we give you the news on that. Then we tackle some great questions, have a fun discussion about Alien Encounter and Stitch's Great Escape. News about the Disney Cruise Line, kids clubs, and the nursery. Vero beach tips. Are the after hours events at the Magic Kingdom worth it? Stuff to do at the resorts if you don't have a theme park ticket. This and much more coming your way on today's show. Don't forget, today's podcast always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure for no additional cost to you. Check out all the great details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make these shows possible. We could not do this without you. If you'd like to support us as well, you can do that, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2565 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rahman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great start to the month of October. Can you believe it? It is time to get ready. We can actually, get into Halloween now, even though Walt Disney World, Disneyland, they're so over Halloween at this point because we've been celebrating it for 2.5 months at this point. We've had Oogie Boogie bashes and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween parties. The candy's probably already stale. Sorry.
My candy is delicious. I'm telling you.
It's always delicious. It's delicious at least until Easter. I mean, come on. Let's be real. True. It's awesome all the time. And it's always spooky and it's always fun. So hopefully you are getting ready to have a great Halloween season, a great fall season. And college football is always awesome this time of the year. 4 + 2 = 6. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So we are going to talk Disney today. Answer your listener questions. Cruise line, Disneyland, Walt Disney World. We are standing by. We are ready. Let's get the panel introduced, and get rolling. Ricky joining us from DisneyWorldAfterAll.com and TheMouseForLess.com. Ricky, happy Wednesday. What's up?
Happy Wednesday, and happy October. We was mentioned previously. We went down there a couple weekends ago, and we really got into the Halloween spirit for sure. Like we definitely. We weren't there before, but now I think we're absolutely in that Halloween mode. We did Halloween Horror Nights, which was fun. We did Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which was super fun. I did more trick-or-treating this year at the Halloween party than I ever thought I would do, and we had a blast. So just going to say I brought home a ton of candy, although I will say my husband has been doing his fair share of eating it. So I'm not going to have any candy left by the time Halloween hits, because seriously, he will have eaten the entire, and I'm saying it's a bucket that's decently full. It's not a small bucket. It will all be gone by Halloween, and it won't be handed out to children. It will all be my husband eating it.
I mean, Brian's a skinny dude. Shout out Brian. Eat all the candy. Go Brian. That's what I mean. He's making his money back. He's an economist, and he's an accountant.
He's an accountant.
He's balancing the books basically by eating the candy.
He is. I think it's stress eating candy, and or also he doesn't make himself anything for breakfast. So instead, he just grabs a couple pieces of candy and slams that for breakfast. So that's the healthiest choice, right?
Okay, how many of you guys do this? So now see, this is why you watch the videos. We record usually on Mondays around 5:30 Eastern-ish. So, and you should be subscribed so you always get the notification. But I'm going to do a video trick here, and I'll let you know on the audio feed if you're listening. But how many of you guys do this? Because I have this here in the studio. Wonk. And then, speaking of candy, wonk. It's the candy you get on your pillow on Disney Cruise Line. That's right.
Oh.
This is from July on the Fantasy. I keep a stash right here.
You haven't eaten it yet?
No, well, I'm down to 5 of the long dudes and 4 gold doubloons, or coins, because you never know when you need a authentic piece of candy from Disney Cruise Line here in the studio. When it's stressful, like I said, it's a stressful like code release day or something, man. You got to eat that candy. Tastes better from Cruise Line.
You might want to eat that. I'm just saying.
I know. And it says Sweet Dreams. And it's Dove. I mean, Dove is good
It is Dove, and Dove is fantastic.
I'm saying, man, you just gotta chug that stuff down. It's probably all gone by the time you hear this show. Anyway, Pam Forrester, she's the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel. What is up, Pam? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. I have to say, I was really happy when Disney Cruise Line switched from whatever they used to have.
It was like generic chocolate, wasn't it?
Yeah, like some of it was not good. And the coins, I was like, no. And what was so funny is, so no matter what length of cruise we were on, my family never used to like the chocolate. So we would stack it all up, right? And by the end of the cruise, we had like this huge pile of chocolate. And I'm like after day 3, wouldn't you be like, I don't need to leave anymore?
It's all over the place.
I think we're good. Yeah,
we're good. But no, it kept coming. So anyways, but I do like the Dove chocolate now. It's not my favorite, but I like it. So what? I know, right? I like dark chocolate.
I do like dark chocolate. Dove has good dark chocolate though. If they gave out the Dove dark chocolate on Disney Cruise Line, it'd be a no-brainer for me.
I would like if they gave out the Lindt dark chocolate little, like the round.
Yes. Yes.
I forget what they're called. Whatever they are, they're
truffles?
Good. Truffles? They are truffles, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's not the mushroom truffles, but
no.
Truffles.
Different kind of truffle.
Chocolate truffles. But anyways, if they gave those out, then that would be bang. Yeah.
The irony of it all is though, that you come back to your stateroom and you've probably just had 3 desserts in the main, dining room. And you're just like, oh dude, I barely struggled to get out of the dining room back to my stateroom. I can barely move. I'm so full of desserts, like a souffle or a, whatever.
Right.
I've had 3 kinds of cake.
Plus your ice cream.
Ice cream. Of course, you had to have an ice cream cone on the way because you passed the machine. And then it's like, 17 little pieces of chocolate. It's like, what am I going to do with this? But you don't appreciate it at the time, so you bring it home. Make the cruise last longer.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they like it. I think that's what it's there for, though. Yes. So you can take it home.
Absolutely.
Except when it's hot. Then
then it's not a good choice. Don't leave it in the car. That's not a good option.
No. Before we get into it, let's talk about our the big news.
Yes. Coming. Okay. So yes, breaking news. So yes, people have been asking. So Pam Forrester, lay it down. We're going to talk about one of the greatest things we've been doing over the years here before we get to the questions. So Pam, tell us all about it.
We have some information on the Give Kids the World auction, which I know so many people have been, I know, right? We're so excited about this. And I know that so many people have reached out and asked what to do. And some of you folks have already been buying items that you want to use for the auction, which is really so nice. The issue this year really is for us is that we want to give you as much time as possible and as much lead time as possible to send in to send in the information, to send in the donations, all of that. So we want to tell you that we'll be putting up a link to some instructions and a form you can fill out if you want to send in donations for the auction. And for those of you who are new, don't know this, we do an auction, I don't know, every so often for Give Kids the World. And it's our community, this fantastic podcast community, and the folks at Magical Wishes for Kids that really help us do this by sending in items that we can auction off. And then we will have the auction there on February 8th.
Yeah.
So write it
March,
down in
isn't
the
it?
calendar, right?
It's March, right?
Yes.
Is it not March?
Oh, March.
March 8th.
Whoa.
I've been doing
I
that
was gonna say,
ever since we've been talking
I was
about
gonna say,
this.
breaking news, because I thought it was in
February.
March. I was gonna say I thought it was
Yeah,
in
no.
March because it's my wife's birthday.
Yes, it's definitely
Yes,
March.
okay.
Definitely March. Yes.
Yeah, I know. Ever since we've been talking about this, I've been saying, "Oh, it's February," and I don't know why. So, anyways,
Yes,
something to think
March.
about there. But yeah, we have instructions. So please make sure you look at the instructions. Actually, the donation items you can mail right to Give Kids the World. They're collecting them for us. And so then we'll have them available. We ask that you take a picture before you send it in. There's a form that you need to fill out. And Give Kids the World has something called an in-kind form, but everything's on the instructions. We'll be pasting the information, links to the information in all that area. So
yeah,
we need your help. We're looking for all different kinds of stuff. So
it is. We're really excited about it this year. Like I said, like Pam said, it's going to be a little bit different. So you won't be sending items to me this year. Instead, you will be sending them to Give Kids the World directly. And like Pam said, we have a form that you'll fill out, instructions to kind of read over, to make sure that the information that the items get to Give Kids the World properly, and for our podcast and auction. And for those who are new, we basically, like Pam said, do this every year or every other year. And what we do is a live show. It's about 6 hours or so. We're on the air, and then we do an auction at the same time. The auction does start a little bit early, so that people can kind of start making their ideas of what they want to bid on, and start, contemplating, what things they cannot live without and must take home. Trust me, there will be definitely things that you want to take home. We always have some really cool things that people donate. And if you have items to donate, we really are looking for just about anything. So I just want to kind of give you an idea of things that we've gotten in the past that have really worked out well. So obviously Disney theme park items and memorabilia, Universal theme park items and memorabilia, Star Wars items, Marvel items, pins are a big one, Disney Cruise Line items, or anything from the foreign parks are really big too. Autograph photos, things like that. We've gotten, signed photos from like John Stamos before, just really cool things. We've done things from like Disney princesses that we've gotten as well. Homemade items are really big as well. So if you are a crafter and, you've got this really great idea of something that you think would work out really well for the auction, absolutely, we would love to have that as well. We love all those crafty people, because I am not one, much to my mother's chagrin. Sorry, Mom. I know you got me sewing lessons when I was 8, but I was 8, so I don't, remember how to sew. Disney ears, vintage items, lounge flies, purses, those kinds of things are always huge. Popcorn buckets, drink sippers are huge. Books, new Disney clothing, jewelry, Run Disney items. Pretty much, for the most part, if it's Disney or Universal related, adjacent, things like that, those are going to do really well for the auction. Now, of course, we do accept items that are, not necessarily Disney related as well. So if you have a thing that you're into and you really think, oh, hey, I would like to donate this item, whatever, we would be more than happy to accept that too. And they would be greatly appreciated. But we really are excited about this year's auction and live show. And we're if you have any questions, you can always message me. I'll post this stuff as, the information as well. But you can always message me at bogpauction@gmail.com if you have any questions or whatsoever. That way I can help guide you in the right direction if you need assistance. So just wanted to share that.
Don't try to give us Cardinal tickets for next year. We are not going to punish anybody that way. Do not try to donate Cardinal tickets. That is not going to be cool. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, real quick, and then we're starting the show, getting going, but we're going to have the live 6-hour live show from on location at Give Kids World March 8th. So make sure that you are ready. It's probably going to be 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. So we need you to tune in, because we have all kinds of fun guests and antics and all that stuff live from the village and all the locations here, video streams. We'll have, all the stuff. So when you call in, the phone lines will be open. It's a hoot and a half, because we're all together. Scott will be with us, everything. So
yeah. So, and the information, like Pam said, is going to be posted everywhere. I don't have it as of the time of this recording yet ready, but it will be posted. I mean, by the time you see this or you hear this podcast, it'll be posted everywhere. Facebook, Instagram,
Discord,
all that.
in the clubhouse.
Yeah, Discord. Pretty much everywhere. So.
All right, let's get to the first question, and of course, we got months. We'll keep bringing this back up, but not.
Yeah, it's not the first and only time you'll hear.
Remind you.
No, we'll remind you. We won't let you forget.
No.
All right, so the first question says, "Garsh, I love you guys," spelled like Goofy might spell it. It's from Sharon. What can I say, Garsh? I love you guys. You get me through my workouts every day. A few questions for you guys since I'm traveling to Disney early 2025 for a business trip, conference, and mini vacation with my mini me. We hope to visit 2 parks while we're there and staying at Pop. Any suggestions on good restaurants that have vegetarian options, non-seafood options, and dairy-free options? We just found out the Magic Kingdom has after-hours events on one night we're there. Unfortunately, there are no fun holiday events going on that night, but is it worth the $185 ticket? Are all the rides open? Is the bus service available when we get out at 1 o'clock a.m.? Would you recommend any Disney fun things to do at the hotels, but not at the parks for nights I don't have to be at the conference? My mini-me is a teenager. We were going to see if we can paint at Coronado. Cross your fingers. Thanks so much in advance. Stay goofy. This listener is a goofy fanatic, I would say. Gosh. So, first of all, what about these any suggestions for restaurants? I've always heard, now I eat everything. I mean, I don't eat everything. I eat Taco Bell a lot. I eat a lot of Mexican.
Yes. Yeah.
But I've heard Sanaa is a good option for folks that lean this way.
It absolutely
like this kind of diet. Sanaa over at Animal Kingdom Lodge, Kidani Village might be up your alley.
I think that's a great
choice. Is that a good choice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boma maybe as well. I mean, I feel like that would be, another really, really excellent option too. Or Tusker House at Disney's Animal Kingdom, because they have kind of similar foods. The best thing is that, Disney is so accommodating for guests, and that no matter what restaurant you choose, as long as you tell them, hey, I have, this dietary restriction or allergy or whatever, they are so willing to work with you and help you and assist you in your needs. So you really don't have to worry about it. Matter of fact, when I was in Disney a couple weekends ago, I went to the Grand Floridian Cafe, and the lady behind me, she had a couple of allergies. I know she had an allergy. I overheard her say she had an allergy to garlic and onion and a few other things. And so they brought out the chef, and, they were talking to her, and, she had picked out a couple of things on the menu that she thought that she would be able to enjoy. And speaking with the chef, he actually informed her, no. Those things have garlic or onion in them, so you're not going to be able to enjoy that. Let me help guide you on something that actually would work. That's a little bit better for you. So really 100% suggest strongly to have the chef come out, ask for the chef, and have them help guide you on what items would be the best choice for you at whatever restaurant that you go to. So that's going to be the best suggestion I have.
I'm also thinking since she's at Pop, possibly Sebastian's, because that'd be an easy Skyliner ride over. Possibly check the menu there. I'm just saying, peek it out.
They do. I know right now they do it's a like family style meal there though. I know now.
But
so
yeah, just see what they have though. See if it beats your expectations though. But I mean, I'm trying to think of something that's like sit down but easy to get to at Pop Century. Skyliner hop right over to Caribbean Beach. I mean, you might have a couple options over Primo Piatto. Just look around.
I think the other thing is to just ask when you're making the reservation. Even I would call, and specifically the Disney cast members they have a query function in their system, so they can do that. The other thing I'd recommend too is over at Disney Springs, that new Eat menu is more Indian based, and oftentimes there is not a lot of dairy in Indian food because they typically don't drink dairy products, and there also usually are a lot of vegetarian options too, so try that out. But I don't think you'll have a ton of problems finding things. You just have to make sure that you just let the chefs know what you're looking for.
So Pam Forrester, we've talked about value versus cost many times over the course of the run of this podcast, right? And it's, a lot of times, cost and value, they're different terms, right? Because it depends what you get. She asked about, is the after hours party worth it? $185 a ticket. And worth it is another term it means different things to different people. She wants to know about this after hours. Are all the rides open? And all the rides are not open at after hours events, but there are perks where you can get a ton of major attractions done in a small amount of time with cooler weather. You get the best weather, it's nighttime, smaller crowds, you get some snacks, you get some, beverages. Talk to her about this. Like, what are the perks of an after hour event that might make you splurge on something that is very expensive?
First of all, the after hours events are something that we consistently get really great feedback from our guests, from everyone who attends it. It's one of those things where in the Disney community, getting consistently good feedback on anything is a rarity.
Right.
It truly is. But in this case, almost everyone who attends one of these walks away feeling like they did get a good value. And the reason why is just absolutely the things that Mike talked about. You'll be able to knock off all of those the attractions, the headliner attractions. So many of them are going to be open, and that's something that you won't have to do at other points during your trip. The other thing is there are lots of snacks included in these after hour events too. So you'll be able to eat your way through it. And I think the thing that makes this all something that is something, that gets these really high guest ratings is the fact that there are only a certain number of tickets sold, and that keeps the lines down. You don't have to worry about things like lightning lane, multi, or individual, right, for that. And you just get to go and experience the attractions and the fun stuff that is happening. So
it's what I joke with my family with. Ever since I always call it the Elvis experience, right? Because they always said like Elvis would rent out a theme park, or because he had to, or like Michael Jackson, right? If he wanted to go to the grocery store, he basically had to call ahead of time. They'd close it down, because I've seen like stuff on Facebook, like he wanted to see what it was like to go to the grocery store, and he couldn't because he'd be mobbed, so they'd have to close it down so he could just like be a regular person for 20 minutes and shop up and down the aisles. These after hour events or something like that is as close as you get to like having the Elvis experience, right? It's like limited crowds. You get to, not wait 7 hours to get on an attraction. You get to almost walk, it's not walk on, but it's, there's not a lot of thinking. You just go, I want to ride this, and it's going to be minimal weights. And you just go from one thing to the next, get a snack. Hey, I want to get, I want to get an ice cream bar. Hey, well, here's an ice cream bar. You don't have to pay for it. You've already paid for it. It's like being Elvis. I know I'm old. You're like, everybody's like, who's Elvis?
It's like the Taylor Swift experience.
Okay, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know.
Okay, whatever. So last thing though, and I like her idea though of going to the other resorts. There's a lot going on that you could do at the other resorts. Disney has gotten so good at this in the last decade. This could actually get into our show Friday too, by the way. Like, they've gotten so good at giving you the hotels, the resorts have become destinations, right? And Animal Kingdom Lodge is a perfect example.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, right there. If you had a meal at Sanaa, I mean, a lot of times they have like tie-dyed shirts. They have cultural things that are better than a tie-dye shirt, but like a cultural creation where you can learn a little bit about Africa, make some kind of an artifact to take home with you. They cost a little bit extra, maybe $5, $10, $15, $20. I know like Mallory over at Beach Club has made some kind of a ceramic in that solarium before. She's made tie-dye shirts at Pop Century. Coronado has that mosaic. Now you got to sign up for that 60 days out though. Like, it's up at the top at Toledo. You make it. It's only a few days a week. Scott and I have tried to do this like 3 different times. We've been shut out because it's so hard to get into. But there's all kinds of stuff, and it's on the app. Look at the My Disney Experience app. But any suggestions? I mean, I just say look around because there are so many cool things. Movies Under the Stars, all kinds of stuff.
S'mores. We just did a staycation not too long ago at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, and it was amazing. Like, I mean, it was there were so many things to do. Just looking at the animals, or like you said, tie-dye shirts, or just we did the s'mores. We just found a ton of things to do. And what was great was we had both Kidani that we could go to, as well as Jumbo House. So that was really great as well. So yeah, I just look at all the resorts have something unique and fun, and just ask at the front desk, and they'll be able to tell you what they're doing that day and where it is, and things like that, and if there's availability for if it's like a specialty thing. So.
All right. Also, so to the next one, this one is not a listener question, but it's a shout out because Pam mentioned Eat, that restaurant over the new restaurant over at Disney Springs. It's over in the marketplace area, kind of over by the Christmas shop. If you're looking for it, it's right as you come in or by the security there. Kim, she's a PhotoPass photographer, been a long time listener of our show, one of our super fans. She hosted a meetup in St. Louis years and years back. We all met at the Forest Park, which is a big park here in St. Louis. We went to see Mary Poppins at the Muni, which is our big municipal outdoor theater. Had a blast. I mean, it's a long time ago. Mallory was little. Well, Malcolm, this is how big our show. I mean, like our show has listeners everywhere. It's awesome. Malcolm, one of our friends who lives over in the UK, emailed me earlier today, as the day of recording, and said, hey, just want you to know, 11 years ago today, we hosted our BOGP meetup in London. So
wow.
11 years ago, and he had the little logo for it. And it was our old school logo that had the old logo with the iPod Nano with like the ears. I'm like, I missed that logo, but it's so dated because, I mean, gosh, nobody has an iPod anymore. But I mean, shout out. They had it at they said the Buckingham Palace photo opportunity. Obviously, I didn't make this one. Buckingham Palace photo opportunity. They visited the Disney store on Oxford Street, and they went to TGI Fridays.
Nice.
Dude, I mean, any BOGP meetup where you get to go to TGI Fridays in England, I wish I could have gone. But I mean, I just love our community. I mean, how cool is that? We've met it, St. Louis and London and Give Kids the World. And we've had, all these cruises and all this stuff. But shout out to Malcolm and everybody that got to meet up in London. I just saw that and I said, I'm shouting you out on the show. That is so fun. All right.
Cool.
So we have another question from Joseph, or a comment here. He says, hey, Mike at the BOGP crew, sorry for the delay, but I'm a little behind on the podcast because of a Disney cruise. Can we give him a pass on that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we give you a pass. Yeah. I heard you and Scotty G talking about the extraterrestrial alien encounter / Stitch's Great Escape attraction building. I follow a lot of Disney news podcasts and YouTube and websites. I know more about Disney than I know about my actual job that pays for my Disney addiction.
So do I. Yeah, not gonna lie.
There's a lot of those out there. So the real story of the space, that building is original from the late 60s construction and is shared with Cosmic Rays. Now, to place a new attraction in that space, and not just a refresh or small change, would have Disney closing the entire building to include Cosmic Rays and anti-gravities and the retail shop. The reason for this is they would have to update the entire building to the present building code. And from what I've read, there are areas that asbestos has made safe by sealing it in, but new construction would have them remove all the asbestos and that cost and the shutdown of Cosmic Rays is not in the budget and would hurt capacity. Hopefully after the new Cars area in Villains Land is open, maybe we'll have the capacity and capital to close and redo that building. Joe. Makes sense, because that is true. If you go in, I know code is a big deal. So when you make changes, you probably do.
Asbestos is a big deal.
They did an abatement at our elementary school where I used to teach, and it was a huge deal. I mean, it was a huge, because we had like pods, we had like sections of our building, and they did it in pod C. I taught in pod D. Oh my God, it was a nightmare. I just remember it was a big mess. But, so we had this conversation of like, first of all, how scary okay, Pam Forrester, yes or no, because it's October now, was Alien Encounter an awesome attraction, yes or no?
It was an awesome attraction.
That is the correct answer.
It was an awesome attraction. The issue really was, I think that I question whether or not it belonged in the Magic Kingdom.
That's exactly the right answer. It was an awesome attraction in the exact wrong place. It was.
Yeah. And I think, too, the Magic Kingdom is something that is supposed to appeal to everyone. Now, not every attraction has to appeal to everyone. So, I don't see this as being any different than having an attraction with a height restriction. I mean, if you have to be 42 inches to ride an attraction, you're cutting off a lot of people who will be there in the park. And so that is that. I think that it just, it came with a warning, which it did. It did come with a warning. And it was actually very pronounced in the front and very specific on what it was, that it was going to be scary and things like that. But in terms of what it was, what it did. It was an inclusive attraction that really sort of utilized the space. It was sensory. It was, all of that. And I think it was really creative of Disney to do something like that, and brave too. And by the way, it was there for quite a while. I mean, it wasn't just a short-lived kind of thing. It was there for a while. And I think it had a lot of people that really liked it and wanted to see it there. So I think lots of good stuff from that. Then they sort of redid it into Stitch's Great Escape and used some of the same kind of things that were used there. But it was originally like Mission to Mars, right? Like that was the thing that it was. And I did see that. And it was really sort of a unique space. And I think that Disney did the best with a new kind of attraction fitting in that same space, because it was very different than that. So
what do you think, Ricky? Go ahead.
I have to admit, I was 16 when I went on Alien Encounter. It scared the ever-loving heck out of me.
But it was supposed to be a scary attraction. That was the point.
I vowed never to go on it again, which obviously didn't end up happening. I was very glad that it was during a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and I was so glad to be wearing a blonde wig because I was dressed as Britney Spears, that I did not feel all the effects from Alien Encounter because I was wearing said wig. Otherwise, if I could have, I would have run screaming out of the place. That ride terrified me as a 16-year-old. So while very well done, understand why it closed. I would not have ridden it at any park, whether it was at Magic Kingdom or at Disney's Hollywood Studios, which is probably where it should have gone.
Yeah.
But I am glad I experienced it. Would never have experienced it again, no matter what, even if it still existed. But I am curious though. So obviously they can't necessarily redo the space right now. But if they came up with an idea that kind of utilized the space in a similar mindset, maybe that could, allow people to go and, maybe that could allow Disney to utilize the space for another attraction. I don't know what kind of idea they could come up with that would kind of utilize a similar concept. Of course, it's Disney, so they're creative. They could do it, but I can see why it would just be better to close that space off right now and not worry about it, and probably use it for storage, which I'm guessing is probably what they ended up using it for at the moment right now.
Which is a shame because it's prime real estate. I mean, right off
it
the
is prime real estate, and I get that.
I like that, like theater in the round kind of experience where you're sitting.
It would be
there,
great if they could come up with an idea.
I like it.
Yeah.
And you think about it, like from the history of it now, looking at it from 2024, like I like that obviously the experience was created to answer Universal's thrills, right? And Universal had thrills. They were really getting the teens, and they were, so like, boom, we have something that's going to, this is for the teens, and like the older crowd. And it did it, man. It was, because I mean, think of like that Sir robot that like talked to you in the pre-show. Like it was great. We're going to take it to excess. Like it was clever.
Oh,
like
Skippy, of course.
It was such a great little pre-show too. Like it was like good from the time.
It was a very quotable pre-show.
Oh my God, you walked into the building, it was like a hit from, I loved it. Like, I mean, it did scare people to death. It was great. But then when they put the Stitch layer on top of it, that was super smart because it took Disney IP and kind of like sugarcoated it a little. But it was still scary. Like
it was very scary still, yeah.
Like they're like, okay, we're gonna make it kind of soft and cuddly, but this little soft and cuddly thing's still gonna kill you.
It was true, and not only that, I think one of the things that sort of happened with that was that people were irritated that Disney
lost it.
stepped back
Yeah.
from that. And so then, it never really, I don't think, had quite the following that the previous encounter, did.
If they hadn't have created something so similar and done not a totally different idea, but a somewhat different idea, and kind of made it its own thing instead, it might have done better. But the thing, obviously that killed it was the chili dog burp. Let's be perfectly honest. So
that's clever, though. Looking back at it, it was gross, but it was like when they're thinking about when somebody thought about that, like on a whiteboard in a boardroom out in Burbank, like, dude, just what would be funny? This thing burps a chili dog burp.
For sure, it was so creative, and the fact I think that it was such a great sort of overlay, if you will, on this other attraction. It was. And Lilo and Stitch was a really popular movie. So many people.
It still is.
Stitch to this day, you see Stitch in all, like, if there's something, there's a plush. If there's a Stitch plush, Stitch is almost always on things.
We literally just this past weekend bought Lucy an Angel, Stitch's girlfriend plush, because Brian is a sucker and he loves Stitch, and so he saw a girl Stitch and it was like, this is for Lucy, and gave it to her. So like we had to buy it at that point. But yeah, so there's still a draw even for my 19-month-old infant toddler daughter who's never seen the movie before, so there's still a draw.
I have a theory on the Stitch thing, and then we're going on to the next question. Every parent sees their kid
absolutely
as Stitch when they're in their terrible twos.
I have
Dude,
Stitch downstairs right
you're
now.
like, dude, my kid is like it's like it's like the Warner Brothers like Tasmanian Devil stage, right? When your kid's
100%.
like 2 to 3, they just tear everything up. But they're Stitch.
She's downstairs.
Like they're from a different planet. They're like Experiment 626 or whatever it is. They're just going to destroy your house and your.
They
world.
have a different language.
Exactly. I'm like, I'm raising this thing. The only difference is they're not blue.
I couldn't tell you what that girl downstairs is saying. She knows, but I don't know.
To destroy my world. Like, let me sleep. Let me eat for 5 seconds. Like, why are you tearing up the couch? Like, why are you pulling the toilet paper? What are you doing? Like, my life 2 years ago was peaceful. Like my kid's Stitch. That's why you sell those plushes. Disney nailed us. That's what they did. Anyway, I'm on to them. See, I think about these things. That's what happens. True. Okay, it's Amanda's got a question. I hear Stitch in your house, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, I think you do, actually, yeah.
I think that's gremlins. Like, did you feed them after midnight to get them wet? What are the rules? I forgot all the rules. Anyway, that's gremlins.
Otherwise, we call her Hurricane Lucy. So, okay, whatever. Fine. Yeah.
Okay, Amanda's got a question. Hey, GOP crew. I'm counting down the days to our Cruise on the Dream next October to celebrate my 40th birthday.
Yay!
I have a Apollo question. Okay, good. Now we're going to an adults only question. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. I'm hoping to secure a Apollo brunch reservation for just my husband and I. Oh wait, I finally got one I can use the button for. Yeah. Okay. Oops, I hit it twice. If we do that, I've been dying to use that button forever.
Yes, trust me.
If we do that, we need to send the kids to the kids club. Do you know what time the kids club opens every day on the ship? We are also sailing with friends who I'm sure would be happy to help us out if our boys, if necessary. But I also don't want to ask them to take care of our kids along with their own while they're trying to enjoy their vacation. I also have a nursery question. One of our friends who will also be joining us have a kiddo just shy of a year, so they also need to utilize the nursery. I know you have to reserve the time slot for the nursery. If our reservations are linked, would I be able to reserve those time slots for her, or would we need to be on the same reservation? This will be their first Disney cruise, so if I can help secure some of the spots with my barely silver status, I would like to. Thanks for all you do to keep the magic alive. Sincerely, Amanda. She's 23 miles from Disneyland, but 2483 from the world. All right, Pam Forrester, take this one real quick. Do you know what time the kids club opens up on the ship? It's early.
They're typically open from like 9 till midnight most days, and sometimes they're open a little later. Sometimes it depends on the cruise and whatnot, but around them. But I would plan on maybe you want to do your brunch like around 10:30, just to make sure. Then you'll have that set and ready to go. And as far as being linked on Disney Cruise Line and whether you can make reservations based on your Castaway Club status and not your friends, even when you're linked, each stateroom still has to adhere to their own Castaway Club status. So that's part of the deal there. It's just, the more cruises you take, the way your status sort of ups itself there, and you'll be able to continue to earn an earlier and earlier booking window. But typically, you don't have to worry too much about the nursery. There aren't that many times that it sells out, and she should be able to use that. So.
All right, let's sneak in a last quick question from Aaron. Hello, Mike and crew. We're planning a trip to Vero Beach mid-June next year. What are your can't miss experiences at this resort? Also, is there anything in the immediate area outside of the resort that we should check out? Thanks for all you do and keeping the positive energy flowing. Vero. Ricky, have you gone to Vero? I've never been to Vero.
I've only been to Hilton.
Oh, Pam has
Pam's
though.
there.
Is Vero where the turtles are, or is that Hilton Head?
Vero is where
Vero
the turtles are, and
There
it
you
really
go.
depends on the time of year that you're going to be there. But I think the things that are really unique about Vero is that this is a Disney resort like Hilton Head that's completely away from the theme parks. And that's one of the huge draws here. You'll want to definitely schedule some time to spend at the beach. And it's a really pretty beach. You can rent umbrellas and chairs when you're there. The other thing is that their pool area has actually just been redone or sort of renovated in that space. And while there weren't any huge changes, you'll have that to look forward to. There's lots of pool seating. They have a quick service location there, and they also have a table service restaurant. So you might want to check those out. And I suggest, going into Vero, the little town. It's cute. There's some things to see there, but we spent a few nights there, and we wish we had done more. We sort of walked away from that thinking, dang, I wish we would have done more. One piece of advice I have for Vero is make sure that you take some kind of bug spray. They do have no-see-ums on the beach. I mean, every beach has no-see-ums, but in particular, as you sort of head down the coast a little bit, sometimes they get a little more intense. So make sure you have something that works specifically for no-see-ums, and just enjoy your time. It's beautiful there, really and truly. Lots of activities too. Make sure you check out the daily schedule of activities. You'll have a great time.
And my good friend Dennis in the chat, who knows his grilling and barbecuing, and if you follow him on any social media, watch him on the weekends. I'm telling you what, he should have his own TV, internet show, whatever, because he can grill like nobody's business. Says, Vero, enjoy the pool, and the pork belly sliders at the restaurant are amazing. So if Dennis says that, I'm telling you, get 10. Get a dozen. I'm just telling you that. Yes. And then Jason, another one of our great listeners tuned in over on Facebook, says Taco Dive in Vero Beach. I'd stake my entire food opinion credit on it.
Wow.
There you go.
Any place called Taco Dive, those two words together, sign me up. Because, dive restaurants for Mexican food, always good. And Taco Dive, I'm in. I'm getting ready to get in my Jeep right now and just head southeast. Sounds good to me. All right. So those are the questions for today. You have a question you want to get on the show, Mike at beourguestpodcast.com. Just put listener questions in the header and we'll get to that right away. And of course, like I said, you can join us live on Mondays around 5:30 Eastern to be a part of the show. We'd love to have that. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch is where we broadcast live. And we'll have a call-in show this Sunday night. So join us there. Scott joins me and we take your calls and we just talk Disney, all kinds of topics. That'll be Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. So join us for that as well. Don't forget, our show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney vacation for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details on the website this week. It's over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link as you shop online this holiday season, this fall season, over at beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make all these shows possible. You can support us just $5 a month. And for that, you get a bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. Coming over this week, we'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give us a follow on the social media at Be Our Guest Mike for myself. Ricky's at Ricky Nibs. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. And of course, join us in the clubhouse, beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. All right, we're going to be back on Friday, and we're going to talk about, you won't believe this. So we're going to kind of do what we did Sunday night, kind of continue the conversation. We're going to go back in time 15 years. We're going to go up to a guest 15 years ago in Epcot, in the studios at the Magic Kingdom, and just say, check out this iPad. They'd be like, ooh, that iPad's a lot nicer than the one we had now. Because 15 years ago, they were just big old chunks of glass. Now they're really slick. But we're going to show them videos and pictures of the parks today, right now, October 2024, and say, look, here's the state of the Walt Disney World Resort right now. And we're going to maybe blow their mind positively and maybe negatively when we show them things, how things have changed in 15 years. What we're going to do, us three, talk about those changes. What things would shock us the most if we talked to us 15 years ago? So we're going to go back in time like Huey Lewis in the news and see how that might turn out for us. So we're going to talk about that conversation on Friday, and hopefully you'll join us for that as well. So until we get back together again on Friday, you guys have a great midweek. So for Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.